Raider Nation, what's going on? It's your boy Raider Slim coming back with another video and to talk about the topic at hand, man. I don't know about you guys, but I feel a whole lot different this year about the Las Vegas Raiders, man. Just what they're bringing to the table, with them landing Kubiak. I feel like they really took their time with this hire. It's not like other hires before where it kind of feels like Pete Carroll was not the first option. It was kind of like the second or third option, you know what I mean? And then, just like the whole situation with AP coming in and then, being an intern coach and then like Bisaccia and then becoming head, you know what I mean? I just feel like the Raiders took their time. It wasn't like a Josh McDaniels hire or Pete Carroll, because we know Pete Carroll last year was Ben Johnson that was trending. But we all know that the Raiders took their time this year. It just feels different to me, especially what they're doing. They're in a very unique situation to, have the number one draft pick, which I pretty much feel is going to be Mendoza. And I feel like the Raiders, to make this team really, really succeed coming up this year, they're going to have to fill in the holes coming up with offseason, which is going to be the draft and free agency. Now, O-line definitely needs to be addressed, and that needs to be number one. And I feel like they're honestly going to attack that, and it will be attacked because any quarterback you put in this situation that the Raiders have right now is not going to be able to succeed. You can put someone like Mahomes in here and it's not going to be good. Put Lamar Jackson. No one is going to be able to succeed with the way this offensive line is. So I feel like by them developing that, it's going to help Mendoza, which I pretty much feel he's going to be the pick. But let's just say, if he's not, any quarterback that they bring in, they need to go ahead and have that offensive line because players cannot develop without a good O-line. You can't make plays, can't create plays. Look at Genty this past year. All of his touches pretty much almost 90% were behind the line of scrimmage. Like that's a crazy thing to even think about, that he's getting contact before even passing the line of scrimmage. So I feel like fixing that is going to be addressed. And I feel like honestly the Raiders can address a linebacker in the draft, and draft somebody young that's hungry, that they can mold for the next couple years, that's hungry, a good tackler, and bring in a veteran like wide receiver. Look at, you got someone like Evans and whatnot, can bring in a guy like him, and I feel like, last year I didn't really understand because they drafted Besh and they drafted Thornton, right? But they didn't play these guys, right? So I didn't understand that. Like, they gave minimum reps. And I feel like, when you draft somebody, you draft these wide receiver guys, put them in the game, see what they can do, So they could have been playing them all throughout this year. And then this year coming up, they can say, hey, these are your strengths, these are your weaknesses. Okay, we can create plays around these guys, or hey, we need a play that's going to be, first and, whatever. We're going to use Besh here, Thornton, you know what I mean? Different routes, they could have had a little bit more vision and more tape on these guys. I'm not sure why they didn't. I didn't understand the whole thing with Pete Carroll with, depends on how they, what is the thing he said? He said depends on how they have practice. Like, I don't get that, but I guess just feel like things are a whole lot different. And, bringing in a receiver, they have a lot of draft capital. They got like $100 million to play with. And I feel like, honestly, Geno Smith is going to be gone, And, Geno, I feel like I think his money is guaranteed 3 days after the NFL season actually starts. Well, NFL season for administrative wise, I think it's coming up like March or something like that. So 3 days after the NFL league season starts, his money is guaranteed, But the Raiders, I feel like, are going to part ways with him. Even if he's not traded, I feel like they're going to part ways with him. It just did not work out with Geno Smith. He was getting to it with the fans. I just feel like it's not a good look, and they're pretty much going to part ways with him. And I think when they do cut him, it's going to be like $18.5 million that they're going to have to eat. But I guess they're going to save $8 million, which they can use that money if they want to bring in like Pickett or re-sign him or something like that. But I just feel like things are a lot different. But, this offseason needs to be highly, highly pretty much a plus for this team to succeed and be continuous. But I feel like everything in place is rolling in the right direction, man. I don't know about you guys, like I said, but I feel happy this year. I feel like this year coming up, it just feels a whole lot different. And I think that the Raiders are going to see everything start to come into play as the season goes, and we'll say, oh, okay, cool, we've made progression on this, and we have to see what happens, man. But that's my thoughts, you guys. Let me know what you guys think, man. Hit that subscribe, man. Appreciate you guys in advance. I'm trying to work on these videos a lot more, man, for you guys, doing these longer videos. I created a new channel, And let me know what you guys think, man. Much love, man. Raider Nation.